Komodo dragons are not just the largest lizards on the planet, they are also among the most fearsome predators in the world. With razor-sharp teeth and a bite teeming with deadly bacteria, these ancient reptiles can bring down their prey within hours. Despite strict protection measures, the hunting of this species in Indonesia has continued to be a pressing issue. Who is behind these hunts, madam? And what drives people to face such a dangerous creature? Let's uncover the truth. Weighing over 300 pounds while reaching lengths of up to 9 feet and moving with astonishing speed, Komodo dragons are more than just apex predators of Indonesia's islands. They are a nightmare for both humans and livestock. Their saliva is filled with bacteria that can cause fatal infections, making them deadly killers. Just one bite can bring down their prey in unbearable pain. Currently, more than 20,000 Komodo dragons roam across Indonesia, causing significant economic damage. Losses caused by them are estimated to reach $35 million per year. A single farm can lose up to 250 ducks and 50 goats per week, cutting revenues by as much as 25%. These predators lurk in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike on, turning fields and farms into massive hunting grounds. In 2021, the Indonesian government partnered with WWF to implement a strategy for sustainable Komodo dragon population control, while ensuring conservation efforts remained intact. However, not just anyone can hunt these creatures. Only licensed hunters granted special permits from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry are allowed to participate. These permits are extremely limited, ranging from just 50 to 80 per year, depending on population density and environmental conditions. Every hunt is strictly monitored, and hunters must report detailed information about each Komodo dragon taken down, including its weight, age, time, location, and legal proof. A single mistake can lead to permanent revocation of their hunting license. These regulations are put in place to ensure that hunting does not threaten the species' survival. Komodo dragons are no ordinary prey. They are lethal predators ready to attack anyone who dares challenge them. Taking down a Komodo requires strict adherence to rules. Modern weaponry and a well-planned strategy. Their bite doesn't just cause severe injuries, it carries deadly bacteria that can lead to fatal infections if not treated immediately. Their bite doesn't just cause severe injuries, it carries deadly bacteria that can lead to fatal infections if not treated immediately. Weak firearms are not an option. Hunters use high-caliber rifles ranging from .30 to .300 Winchester, ensuring a single precise shot is enough to bring the beast down. They also equip themselves with long-range scopes to maintain a safe distance and avoid a surprise attack. The smallest mistake could cost them their lives. Protective gear is also a matter of survival. A regular pair of boots won't protect a person from the crushing bite of a Komodo dragon. Hunters must wear bite-resistant boots, reinforced gloves, and even specialized protective suits to prepare for the worst should a Komodo break through their defenses and attack. Only a fool would step into Komodo territory without a plan. Professional hunters always use bait, typically pork, chicken, or animal carcasses. The scent of blood triggers the Komodo dragon's hunting instincts, drawing it into the perfect ambush position. Hunting Komodo dragons is an extremely dangerous mission, and even the most experienced hunters are never allowed to go alone. Indonesian law requires that every hunting team consist of at least 7 to 8 members, ensuring backup in case of an emergency. If a hunter is injured, though, the team must be able to rescue them before the Komodo strikes again. Every Komodo dragon taken down must be reported within 24 hours. The report must include details such as size, age, location, time of the hunt, and even photographic or video evidence. Anyone caught violating hunting regulations faces permanent license revocation and severe legal consequences from the government. For years, Komodo dragons ruled the islands of Indonesia, bringing devastation to farms and local communities. However, controlled hunting policies have led to a dramatic shift. Attacks on livestock have dropped by over 60%, saving thousands of farmers from the nightmare of losing their entire livelihood. More importantly, human Komodo conflicts have decreased by 25%, marking an astonishing milestone in the struggle between mankind and nature's deadliest predator. The economy is making a remarkable comeback. Farms that once suffered catastrophic losses, losing hundreds of livestock per month, are now rebuilding their herds, increasing production and restoring financial stability. Some regions have even seen a revenue boost of up to 35%, marking a triumphant recovery from the devastation caused by these bloodthirsty predators. Despite strict population control, these ancient predators remain a lurking threat. A single moment of carelessness could still lead to a deadly tragedy. Indonesia's battle doesn't stop at hunting. The government is ramping up education campaigns to teach people how to defend themselves and survive Komodo encounters. Training programs focus on spotting a predator in the shadows. Experts conduct intensive training sessions, educating villagers on how to detect Komodo tracks, where recognize hunting behaviors and interpret warning signs before an attack happens. To defend against these giants, the government encourages locals to fortify livestock enclosures with steel fences, install warning systems, and even use fire and loud noises to scare off these beasts. Knowledge is the thin line between life and death. Thanks to these initiatives, human attacks have significantly decreased. Thousands of livestock have been saved, and local communities can now protect themselves more effectively. But can education alone truly control this ancient predator? Or will the Komodo dragon adapt and fight back? The answer remains unknown. What do you think is the best solution? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on our latest content. These were the first goats brought to Australia by British workers and miners in the 17th century. They were originally intended as pets and food. However, after many years' dust house, the goats escaped into the wild and established a feral population. Today there are about 2.3 million wild goats in Australia, mostly found in semi-arid and mountainous regions such as Western NSW, South Australia, Western Australia, and Queensland. Like the white-tailed deer in the US and Mesombris, wild goats in Australia can be quite charming. However, with over 2 million of them, they cause significant damage to the environment and Australian agriculture. In states like Victoria and NSW, wild goat herds in Western Australia cause major environmental damage. Competing for water, food, and shelter with native wildlife and livestock, feral goats also negatively impact Australian agriculture by overgrazing on grasslands, damaging crops, and reducing farmers' profits. It's estimated that feral goats cost Australia's agricultural industry around $25 million annually, not to mention their toll on the environment and grassland degradation. Goats are also considered a major factor in the spread of foot and mouth disease among cattle in Australia. Today, the commercial harvesting of wild goats is worth approximately $29 million. Many Australian herders view catching and selling wild goats as essential to their business. This also helps them minimize the economic damage caused by wild goats. In Australia, horses and helicopters are often used to round up hundreds of wild goats before selling them to goat meat processing factories. The average male wild goat weighs around 132 pounds by year, while an adult female weighs about 97 pounds. Additionally, hunting and trapping are also employed to control wild goat populations in Australia. Wild goat populations in Australia are eliminated through various methods if left unchecked. The wild goat population would double every 18 months. In addition to feral goats and bow and dire, wild camels are another problem for Australia's natural and agricultural landscapes. It's estimated that by 2022 there would be around 1.3 million wild camels in Australia, inhabiting about 53% of the country's grassland ecosystems. This includes most of the arid regions of WA, South Australia, the Northern Territory, and parts of Queensland. In the 1840s, the British brought the first camels to Australia to assist with the exploration of its remote, inhospitable regions. By 1907, the camel population was about 21,000, and they were not considered a problem. However, with the advent of motorized transportation in the 1920s, camel use was phased out and they were released into the wild. While camels do not reproduce as quickly as rabbits are, they are well adapted to Australia's harsh conditions, and without natural predators, their numbers have steadily increased. It's estimated that in the early 2000s, the wild camel population peaked at around 3.1 million when control methods like hunting, traps, and others are implemented. The population numbers of these animals are reduced by more than half. Feral camels cause particular problems for people living in areas where they're most prevalent. They destroy fences and quickly devastate areas of vegetation by trampling and feeding. They also deplete small water reserves in arid regions. Moreover, wild camels can become aggressive toward sheep and cattle, sometimes preventing them from feeding or drinking. It's estimated that wild camels cause about $17 million in economic damage in Australia every year, though the actual number is likely much higher currently. The most popular method of hunting wild camels across mainland Australia is aerial hunting by helicopter. Wild camels are gathered together, then slaughtered. Most state and national governments allow the hunting of wild camels without limits. Each year, around 103,000 wild camels are caught for meat in Australia. Additionally, between 900 and 13,000 wild camels die annually due to old age or other factors such as food shortages or harsh conditions. Despite all efforts, millions of wild goats and feral camels continue to be a problem for Australians, governments, and farmers are working to control their populations using methods like hunting or sterilization. This is seen as the best mass and most humane way to maintain their numbers, ensuring the protection of local communities, farmers, and Australia's native species. So now you know quite a bit about these wild animals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our next one. Goodbye and see you next time.